the first team to score 85-plus points in each of their first 4 games of the NCAA tournament en route to the Final Four since 1992, Indiana. Your reaction to Duke?
They're a juggernaut. You know, we kind of question them to some degree through the regular season because the ACC was so weak this year. But when you really look at them and you look at their individual pieces and you look at the team that John Shire has put together, and I remember specifically when Shire called me about a year ago, a little over a year ago, and he said, there's a method to my madness here with what I'm doing in the portal because it looked underwhelming. Malik Brown, you know, Mason Gill, guys that just didn't blow you away. He said, I need the right guys that accept their roles, the right guys that will fit around Cooper Flagg and protect Cooper Flagg. Well, the other part of this, John, is these 3 freshmen were never freshmen. I mean, they weren't. You know, no. Con Knippel was never a freshman. I mean, he is a terrific overall player. He's not just a dead-eye shooter. This is a kid that can guard. He can make people better. He makes all the right decisions. And Kaman Maluach was the guy tonight. I mean, he really was. Defensively, Mark Sears was terrified of when he got in the lane. He didn't know what to do, and he wasn't the only one. Grant Nelson, too, every shot he took, I think he was hearing footsteps from Maluach. So this Duke team is as good offensively as they are defensively, and that's the scary part of the Blue Devils right now.
Defense won this game. In a battle of the most efficient offense versus the highest scoring offense, who was going to step up and get into the other defensively and make it really hard? Rob Dauster is with us now from the Prudential Center, but this was a game that with less than 8 minutes to go, Duke's lead is cut to 7. Cut to 7. Jeff, you tweeted it. How would Duke handle the game pressure? They proceeded to go on a 13-0 run. A 13-0 run. I think Rob's coming in a little bit unclear here, so I'm going to stick with you here, Jeff, before I can get Rob confirmed clear. 13-0 run, Jeff, in which they frustrated the heck out of Mark Sears. Mark Sears at one point, Jeff, is driving it on Cooper Flagg. He travels. Then he comes down, and Tyrese Proctor draws a charge. 2 of 12 for Sears, 8 of 32 from 3 for Alabama. We do have Rob in clear. Rob, you just covered this game. You just saw it. How about Duke's defense to produce a 13-0 run and seal the game?
Yeah, I thought that the size of Duke was just the ultimate difference maker for him here. Mark Sears really, really struggled being able to deal with a lineup where the smallest guy on the floor was 6'5", 230 Sion James, right? They switched everything at the start. They switched 1 through 4 when Cliff Amari was out there. They were able to give him different looks. They were able to completely take Alabama out of what they wanted to do offensively. It was the total opposite, guys, of what we saw on Thursday night when BYU tried to go under every single screen. Duke just blew up everything Alabama wanted to do. And to me, the most impressive part, we all love Cooper Flagg, right? Guy's going to be the number 1 pick. He looks like one of the best players we've seen in college basketball in the last decade. And I thought it was the first time this season where it looked like he was really bothered by the length and athleticism that he had to deal with on the floor around him. He was 6 for 16 tonight, full of turnovers. He had the wedgie that he threw up. It looked like he was forcing it. It did not look like your quintessential Cooper Flagg game. And Duke still was able to keep this Alabama team that put up 113 points on Thursday night, basically at arm's length the entire game.
It's the truth. I mean, Jeff, think about this, too. You talk about Knippel. Cooper Flagg and Con Knippel, this is from Jared Burson, the first pair of freshmen to each have a 20.5 rebound, 5 assist game in the same NCAA tournament. Flagg on Thursday against Arizona. Knippel tonight against Alabama. This is not your typical freshman class. Maluach is beyond his years in feel and presence, but at one point tonight with about 9 minutes to go, Knippel found Sion James for a slam. And on the broadcast, they were saying, they're like, to think that this kid was just coming in and going to be the dead-eye shooting presence is wrong, because they have 2 guys who have unbelievable IQ for the game, in not just Cooper, but Con Knippel. And that, to me, Jeff, is what has made them so scary. Not to mention, Jeff, you know what I love about this team and John Shire? He's gotten them better. as the years gone on, Jeff Goodman. They've grown leaps and bounds as a team.
And even when Cooper isn't dominant, you know what he is? He takes a lot of pressure off the other guys no matter what, and he still makes them better, right? He still makes them better by making the right – he had a couple poor decisions in there, but for the most part, he's making the right decision. He's not forcing a ton. And, again, there's so much attention given to Cooper Flagg that it gives other guys easy opportunities. I thought Tyrese Proctor was really good again, shot the ball well. He's been so consistent so far in the NCAA tournament, kind of that underrated guy that, again, we kind of picked on a little bit a year ago because he didn't live up to Rob Doster's expectations or a lot of our expectations. But he's done so this year and just kind of settled into his role. And, again, this is a team that's on a mission. You can see it with them. We've said it all year. You see it after the game, even when they interview Khan. They're businesslike. They're not celebrating. They're having fun. They're enjoying this, but they're not going crazy on it. They're not acting like 18, 19-year-old freshmen, the core of this team. They are acting like, you know what? We're supposed to be here, and we're going to win this whole damn thing. We got 2 more to go.
You know what, Rob? John Shire's got some Jay Wright in him. He's got some Jay Wright in him. And I know that he's got a long career ahead of him to get those types of numbers, but listen to the post-game interview. Jeff, did you hear him? He goes, we got back to the fundamentals. What was Villanova built on? Stopping on 2 feet, using your pivot foot, doing the basics, culture. Knippel's answers are all, I mean, some of them are flat out boring. But that's how some of those elite Villanova teams got it done, where they didn't give away too much in the press conferences. They didn't reveal much bulletin board material. When they stepped on the floor, though, man, they got killer instinct. And, Rob, I thought we felt that tonight. When you think about Alabama coming in this game, to see Mark Sears, we thought that he could have issues with Duke's length, but he shot 2 of 12. And Alabama shot 8 for 32. You were sitting courtside, Rob. What did you make of one, the way that Duke was able to stop Bama, but 2, like, how did Bama only manage to score 65 points in this game when they averaged 91?
Well, I don't think it was just what Duke did defensively that made Mark Sears have that tough of a night, right? One of the things that you can do when you really want to take an offensive player out of a rhythm is to go at him every possession defensively, and that's what they did. In the second half especially, they really hunted the matchups with Mark Sears. They would kind of run a little bit of fake motion, a little bit of false offense, and find a way to be able to get a matchup where somebody was being guarded by Mark Sears, and they went at him over and over and over again. And I think that Mark Sears kind of looked tired by the end of that game. And when you combine having to play defense on every single possession with the fact that he has to go and create against someone where he can't just pull up and shoot from 28 feet over the top of them, that was the biggest problem that Alabama had. And look, I loved what John Shire did when it came to just tweaking little things on the defensive end of the floor. And there are two moments that really stood out to me. One was in the first half, right after Aiden Sherrill banged home those 2 threes, what he immediately started doing was switching everything 1 through 5. Before that, they were switching everything 1 through 4 and just playing common in a really deep drop. He immediately started switching everything 1 through 5. And later in the first half, there was a possession where they brought in Patrick Ngamba, and on the first possession, he missed a switch, and they got Grant Nelson driving lane to the layup. Shire calls a timeout and immediately brings in Malik Brown, and they start switching everything 1 through 5 because Alabama had gone to a smaller lineup. He knew what he wanted to do against the different lineups that Alabama had. He knew what the answer was going to be, and he wasn't afraid of making those changes immediately. And to me, that is what coaching is right there. It's not just the game plans. It's not just recruiting. It's the in-game management. And I thought that tonight was a masterclass from John Shire. I was really impressed with what he was able to do possession by possession. He has complete control over that game. As soon as they get the ball over half court, everybody on that team is looking at him. He's calling out a play. And most of the time, it ends up working.